We have to remember two different types of countertransference. And first, we have concordant countertransference. I'm going to simplify the terminology and call it concordant countertransference. That's simple empathy. You feel what the patient is feeling. Then we have the more complicated complementary countertransference. That's when you feel what the patient splits off from their awareness and evokes in others. The patient exports something that's in their mind to you because they can't tolerate it in themselves. And it can be a very powerful experience when a person exports part of their mind. And we're going to talk so much about countertransference, particularly when we talk about dissociative identity disorder. Containing intense countertransference is crucial. Complementary countertransference overlaps a lot with projective identification. We all know what projection is. Projection is when the patient sees in somebody else what they do not want to see in themselves. But what's the identification part of projection? That's when the patient somehow manages to get you to feel as though it's you what they're projecting on you. So you identify with their projection. Let me go on just a little bit about these two forms of countertransference. Concordant is putting ourselves in the patient's shoes. I'm going to give Dr. Kernberg's simple example of concordant countertransference and complementary countertransference. A young man who's in college, trying very hard to succeed in his studies, but having difficulty, comes in and says, you know, that exam I was studying so hard for, I failed the exam, I feel terrible. And your countertransference is, oh, I feel terrible. He was trying so hard and he didn't pass it. That's putting yourself in the patient's shoes. But complementary countertransference, okay, let's skip that. Why? Okay. Complementary countertransference, as I said, has more to do with projective identification. And in the same situation, if the student said, oh, I failed, and your reaction is, that lazy son of a bitch, I knew he'd fail. He's a good for nothing. He'll never amount to anything in life. That's the harsh, punitive part of his internal world that he's not experiencing right now, but that he's evoking in you. So those are simple examples